Alright, so in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to use Photoshop and Adobe's generative AI to create your own unique mockups for your products. So let's dive right into it. I'm presently using Photoshop 2025, and once you've opened it, go to New File, and then you're going to want to create a 2000 by 2000 pixel canvas, 300 DPI, and you want a transparent background. By default, this is often set on white, so you want to make sure that it is set on transparent when creating the document. And then choose Create. Once your canvas has loaded, go back to Printify and copy the image of the mockup of the, not the mockup, but the product that you want to create a mockup for. I have it saved to my clipboard. And then just use the Move tool to resize it to fit the 2000 by 2000 square canvas. The reason why we are using 2000 by 2000 pixels is because that is the recommended dimensions for an Etsy thumbnail. Once your image is in, go to Remove Background. When you click Remove Background, it will create a layer mask. From here, you can actually just click Generate Background. And then you can describe the background that you want to create. It's important to note that you want to describe the area, the setting, and the place that you're putting, that you want the mockup to be. For example, I want this mockup to be in a snowy forest. So I'm going to put snowy forest lifestyle view taken with a Canon camera. The reason I put the information about the camera into the description, and you can be Canon, Nikon, Sony, whichever you prefer, is that it tells the AI that this is supposed to look like a real image that someone took with a camera. And so it'll help the AI help hone down and create a realistic image. Once you're satisfied with your prompt, click Generate. Now, if you're having trouble writing a prompt, and trust me, we all do when it comes to writing for AI, you can actually go to ChatGPT and ask it for what terms you should use in Photoshop's AI to create realistic lifestyle images for your products. Since ChatGPT is also AI, it will have a little bit of an insight on what terms to use to describe to an AI software. Depending on your internet connection, the generating process could take anywhere from 30 seconds to a few minutes. Alright, so once it has created your background, now it's time to take a look through the top 3 and see if any of them are what you're looking for. So there's this one, which is an interesting view. You have this one, which isn't bad, but the realistic texture is missing. And you have this one as well. Now again, most of these are generally acceptable, but they're not quite what I'm looking for. For one, this one is kind of an odd angle to be taking a picture of a mug at. This one has some weird illustrating dots or something going on here on the bottom. And this one, the scale of the mug looks ginormous compared to the trees. So if you don't like any of those, go back to the one that you do like, click the 3 dots, and click Generate Similar. This will use both the prompt that you've used and the context clues of the image that you're on to create a new image in a similar style. Alright, so once it finishes generating, again, just go back through and look for any images that match what you're looking for. Now again, if they're still not looking like what you're wanting, then you might need to change your prompt. You can also, if the background is more of the problem, you can also select just the background and you could blur it. The key thing that you want to look for when choosing a good image and creating one is making sure that the product is not modified in any way. Sometimes when you use AI to generate the image, it will make changes to your selection to make it fit the background that it's generating, and so you just want to make sure when doing so that your product was not changed in any way. You also want to make sure that your image does not look AI generated, and so it's important to keep in mind that while AI can be a great tool for finding a great image, you also want to make sure that it doesn't look AI. because it can cause a percentage of your customers to go, this entire thing looks like it was generated in AI. And I don't even know if that's an actual mug in the picture or if that was generated too. So you just want to keep that in mind when creating new images. And again, if the image is not what you want, you can also go back to generate similar, which I'm going to do for this one, and see hopefully it gets rid of this. And then the key is really just continuing to play around with the prompt and continuing to generate images until you get one that's the one you want. And then once you get that, you can generate similar based off of that, and then you have a whole treasure trove, a whole library of images that you can pull from for future mockups. Alright, so again, my images are not quite looking what I'm looking for. AI is doing a really good job of keeping the shadows and the lighting fairly consistent, so I am appreciating that. However, the images are not quite what I'm looking for, so let's just change my prompt a little bit. Snowy forest, realistic image taken with a Canon camera. Alright, so I'm looking through the options that the AI gave me, and I kind of like this angle. I like how the trees are in the distance, and the comparison between sizes looks realistic. I do like the way this looks. I may, if I'm going to use this photo, I may just blur out the background. But yeah, no, I like the way this looks. But again, remember when generating with AI, there are a couple things that you need to keep an eye out for. You want to make sure that the background does not look AI generated. You want to make sure that your product was not modified in any way. And so you just want to make sure that those two things align. The background doesn't look AI generated and your product was not modified in any way as part of the generating process. But to export this image, you just go to File, and then choose Export, Export As, and you can choose the export settings, for example, the file type, the size and scale, and then, yeah, there you go. You have a completely new image that you can use, and the best part is that if you create this the way, following the instructions that I gave, you will have a file, a layer left back here that you can use for other products. All you got to do is add another layer of mock-up of a product in the same mock-up style on top, and then just create a new background, and boom, you've got another mock-up. And so you can really use this to help speed up getting your images, getting your products listed, especially if you need a new product image to use as your thumbnail so they all don't look the same. However, do not undervalue the value of having actual photos of your products. So I definitely recommend that while I recommend using this method for products that you don't have images for, real photos for, make sure that you are making strides in trying to get real photos of your products, because those are going to be more valuable to you than the AI ones. Plus, you can also use the real images to create mock-ups. And since they're your own images, they'll be completely unique and you'll stand out.